don't go into it on the level of these brothers here. These brothers here don't eat it all down there sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You know, you might still be eating some dirt or some stuff out there or something, you know, that he and my other brother and all, you know. These are some things. So he's in the form of the brotherhood, and everybody in here is a part of the great brotherhood. And that particular brotherhood, you will be seeing the first introduction of that brotherhood coming soon. I'll say that date, 12/12/12/94. We'll get into that in a few minutes. I brought a lot of books this time, and I want to get into some things. Number one, I first want to say this. Yeah, one person like that, that's true too. I'm already pumped up, so cool. All right, will you just pour it in the plant, or just put the plant near it and just pour it in the bucket? In the plant, well, you know. The vibratory rate is so strong now that if you just call out the gods, just call out the gods, and they say Ashe, the spirit also comes too. So as we go, we're gonna, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour it in the bucket, and the plant will receive it from the bucket. The plant knows, so I'm gonna first pour some in the plant for the plant to drink. For the plant, Ashe. Okay. All right. Now, the next crew we're gonna do. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna give you some different gods. I'm gonna call out some out of my head, and then we'll go through the list. And the more we invoke, the better we'll be. So as I call out the gods, you go, Ashe. Ready? Anasuit. Ashe. Ewa. Ashe. Namu. Ashe. Hostile. Ashe. Kulu Kulu. Ashe. Ashe. Nakumpa. Ashe. Umberenga. Ashe. Baal. Ashe. Baal. Ashe. Baal. Ashe. Pele. Ashe. Inanna. Ashe. Ishtar. Ashe. Amen. Ashe. Amen Rithenfa. Ashe. Amen Ketiometi, excuse me. Amen Hotel. Ashe. Raherukahudi. Ashe. Harvey Crotch. Ashe. Quetzalcoatl. Ashe. Noon. Ashe. Newt. Ashe. Abbott. Ashe. Tyert. Ashe. Tamerti. Ashe. There ain't gonna be enough water for the way I pull these things. Okay, let's go to the list and think of some more. We'll let you all do some. This is from the Kabbalistic. Kelda. Ashe. Shakma. Ashe. Bina. Ashe. Chesed. Ashe. Gebera. Ashe. Tippereth. Ashe. Natzad. Ashe. Had. Ashe. Yased. Ashe. Malkut. Ashe. Aether. Ashe. Helios. Ashe. Magometa. Ashe. Jupiter. Ashe. Mars. Ashe. Helios. Ashe. Venus. Ashe. Mercury. Ashe. Diana. Ashe. Ceres. Ashe. That was the Roman. Aether. Ashe. This is the Greek. Urea. Ashe. Rhea. Ashe. Zeus. Ashe. Aries. Ashe. Apollo. Ashe. Aphrodite. Daddy. Ashe. Ashe. Ptah. Ashe. Sut. Ashe. Ra. Ashe. Hathor. Ashe. Heru. Ashe. Anubis. Ashe. Aset. Ashe. Neptune. Ashe. Okay, this is the North, which is your Druids, which I also told you were black people, because their particular Bible is called the Druids Bible, or Druids mythology of Osiris and Isis. So right there, that's telling you that it's the same people. Okay? Okay, Yima, Ashe Odin, Ashe Frigga, Ashe Balda, Ashe Laki, Ashe Thor, Ashe Freya, Ashe Freya, Ashe Sip, Ashe Nutris, Ashe. Now this is the Hindu that's coming. Brahmin, Ashe Brahmini, Ashe Vishnu, Ashe Ramachandra, Ashe Shakti, Ashe Shiva, Ashe Kali, Ashe Indrasuta, Ashe. You all scared about with your spiritual stuff here. Namawalawedo, Ashe Maraka, Ashe Bridget, Ashe Adamwadi, Ashe Ogu Pirelli, Ashe Ogu Shango, Ashe Ozuli, Ashe Legba, Ashe Edo, Ashe Zaka, Ashe Alapi. Now this is the Santeria, or what you say, excuse me, Europa. Alapi, Ashe Obatala, Ashe Odudawa, Ashe Orunla, Ashe Ogun, Ashe Oshun, Ashe Elegba, Ashe Iminya, Ashe Arisha Oku, Ashe Oya, Ashe. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to tribute this particular rest of this poem of the ancestors. Somebody bring me one more. I think we're going to do, I need one more. That's it. One more for the ancestors. Okay, we're going to do this one. This is the Yoruba invocations of your rituals and the ancestors. I say Tutu Elekba. I say Kosi Ku. I say Kosi Arun. I say Kosi Ayo. I say Kosi Obo. I say Kosi Indina. I say Kosi Bataba. I say Oko Arku Babawa. I say Mojo Olofo. I say Mojo Gogo Orisho. I say Mojo Oti Un. I say Mojo Obo Iku. I say now let's see Odomare OBE. I say Orun. I say okay, ready? All right. Give me one more. I think we need one more. And we'll be good to go. Okay. Ni Kan Masi Obo. Nai Kan Masi. Ashe. Okay, this we don't need now. We got enough of this. Now, remember now, if I'm saying these wrong, when you do it, what happens is when they get to the heavens, the angelic hosts correct them and then give them to the particular God that you're trying to invoke. So don't worry whether you're doing the correct pronunciation, because it's going to get to the gods and they know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you call my name and call me Robert Hemmitt, I would know if you're talking about me. Well, these are the same ancestors that used to live on the planet, and they're not unlike you. And we have been trained into thinking that in actuality that the gods, based on the three major world religions, are unlike us, or what you would say unapproachable. They're just like you. There's no difference in the gods in heaven than the gods down here. Check? All right, now, what we're going to do is I'm going to call out some of my major ancestors, and when I call your name, tell everybody, I want everybody to start at one time and start calling out the ancestors until you can't think of any more at one time. So these are mine. Let's see. I read great-grandmother Shaw, great-grandmother Davis, I say great-grandmother Hemmitt, I say grandfather Hemmitt, I say Ollie Hemmitt Jr., I say grandmother Hemmitt, I say. Okay, those are mine. Let's say to the Davis family, to the Shaw family, to the Hemmitt family. Okay, now, when I count to three, we want everybody to start saying your ancestors. 1, 2, 3. Keep on. I say. I say. I say. I say. I say. Is that it? I say. Keep on. I say. If you can think of it. I say. Let's do it till the water run out. I say. I say. Let me hear you one more time. I say. I say. I say. To all ancestors known and unknown. I say. To all gods known and unknown. I say. Okay. Like I said, I'm a very unorthodox person. You can see how junky I am and all. At this particular time. So, what I want to do is, number one, I was at the Slave Theater not this past Wednesday, but the last Wednesday. And I said, Stella already told me that, some of the people there, they Al Sharpton crew, and they into all the politics stuff, so they think they spiritual, but, you say something spiritual, they go amen and hallelujah and all that. But they really don't get down with the spirit, so they said in actuality, they're going to say, okay, I don't know if this brother crazy or whatever. So I said, so when we got there, I started noticing a little bit of spirits and fires. I said, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I said, when we leave out of the Slave Theater tonight, there's going to be a ship that's going to come from the left of the slave, and it's going to come all the way down. It's going to come right in front of the Slave Theater. And when we got out, I had about 250 people left, because I did about 4 hours. 250 people left. And when we got out, what had happened was the ship, when we got it, was a clear sky. And the ship started coming from one end on the left-hand side, and it came all the way up and parked right in front of the Slave Theater, and 250 people saw the ship. And so now I got another tape that I did at the Dempsey, I think it was that Friday night, because I did one that Wednesday, and then I did that one that Friday night. I had another tape that I did at the Dempsey, and what had happened was, we had a lot of people from the slave there. So we got the people actually on the tape being witness to all of this. Now, as a result, I have, those tapes are now back in Atlanta. And also I did a great interview at the Melanin Conference also in D.C. And so we have that actual interview back in Atlanta also. to let you know that we can bear witness. What we'll do tonight, if everything goes right, when we leave here tonight, there should be a ship. Should be several ships, but it should be one that is unmistakably a ship. And those ships should be here tonight, so when we leave here tonight, I'll point out what the ships are for some of the people that don't already know. Some people already see them. How many people have seen the ships already? Okay, now, for the people that see the ships already and know what they are, fine, they cloak themselves as stars, and what you're looking at as stars sometimes are actually ships. But once you see them, you will actually notice. You can look at the star, and you can look at the ships, and you will know that these are actually ships. Now, once you know what these ships are, they will follow you from now on, give you energy. When you meditate upon these particular ships, and they'll follow you from now on. Now, first thing we want to do is, anybody got a pencil and pieces of paper? Always bring you some pencils and pieces of paper to lectures, especially in the last days. Because now what we're going to go into, because our people are rooted in the Bible, and if you don't go through the Bible, you ain't going to get our people. So now, because remember now, all the religions are all of one. I think we are adult people at this particular time that we know that the religions are all one. And if anybody, some woman I was in Chattanooga, she said, oh, there are false religions. I say, name one. She said, and she couldn't name one. You see, because she hadn't studied the other religions to determine that they were false. So how in the hell are you going to say that those are false religions? You see what I'm saying? We just speak things that we heard, you know, throughout life. You know, oh, false religions. I said, name one. She couldn't name one. You know, she couldn't name not one. Now, I'm not talking about the breakdowns of religious fundamentalism where you have the Catholicism and all the different types of church. I'm talking about the scriptures. You know, coming from the original influx of those types of religions. You see what I'm saying? Anybody can misconstrue stuff within the practices of what they try to carry out those scriptures. I'm not really talking about that. You see, I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about something a little bit greater. Now, what we're going to do is, let me put this gum down. I don't know, I just had to freshen up the breath and also what the heck. Just put that right there. You know how it is. As long as I don't stick it up under the table, you know, I won't be penalized for that. Now, okay now, we want to go through these particular things where you are gods. Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? Okay, this is going to be Psalms, for the people that don't know that starts with a P. Some people never read the Bible, they swear out they're Christians. That's P-S-A-L-M-S. Psalms 82, verse 1. You need to write these down. Psalms 82, verse 1. Judges among the gods. Talking about you the gods. Okay, the next one is John chapter 10, verse 34 to 36. And also Psalms 82, verse 1 to 6. And Jesus answered them, is it not written in your law that I said, ye are gods? And he called them gods unto whom the word God came. Now, what had happened was, I think it was the actual disciples saying, I think they were saying, we can't make it without you, you know. And he was, you know, they were saying, you know, was doubting themselves. And he said, wait a minute, is it not written in your law that I said that you are gods? So that's John chapter 10, verse 34 to 36, and also Psalms 82, verse 1 to 6. Okay, what I'm going to do is, this particular time, this is Romans chapter 8, verse 14, 16, and 17. And it says, is it not, as many has led by the Spirit of God, they are sons of God. And the Spirit itself breatheth within our spirit, and that are the children of God. And if the children, then heirs, the heirs of God, and the joint heirs with Christ. We're still saying that the children are God. One way to talk about the ye of gods is alone when it's in Psalms chapter 8, verse 3 to 6. The next one is in Moroni, M-O-R-O-N-I. Now, is that in the Bible? Because I think it's probably in other texts, because a lot of people, last class, I spoke at Clark, they say, well, you've never seen that before. It might be in other texts. There's several different Bibles of, you know, the one Christian faith. Okay, Moroni, chapter 10, verse 4 to 6. That's another one. Moroni, chapter 10, verse 4 to 6. These are some things on where you are gods, and you need to look these up. And so the next time the Christians started talking, you know, some Jehovah's Witnesses came, and I quoted John chapter 10, verse 34 to 36, and she was like, hey, that, you know, because as long as I went in the Bible and showed her, she felt a little better about it. So this is some things that you might want to do to the people at home when you go home and the people start talking about, I just goes by my Bible. like they say, tell them to go into their Bible and not by their Bible. Now, the next thing we want to do is to get warmed up. I don't know, this is the 16th anniversary collector's issue of Omni Magazine, The Science and Religion, UFO and Gods. It was October, so you might want to hurry up and go back and go out and get this particular book also, too. There's another article in here called Antimatter, the update of the devil's design, the UFO war toys for angels of the dark. When you hear that devil, you know what I'm saying? So now he's dealing with a lot of Satanism. That Satanism is, first of all, there's no such thing as no devil up under no ground. That is spookism, and you're supposed to be a little above that at this particular time to quit believing in doggone intense fear. You see what I'm saying? Hoping nothing don't scare you. You see. When they talk about that, they're talking about the most ancient God, which is the black God. That's their Satan. You see what I'm saying? That's their Satan. Here's Brother Bo. I'm going to be speaking with him at his place. What's the name of your area? Is that? 6118 Covington Highway. I'll be speaking at his place next Sunday, right about 5 o'clock, I think. About the same time. I'll be speaking at his place also. And what's the other place? You still have your other place in Cascade Road. What's the name of
Africa by
what's that? DD of Africa, which is named after your wife.
Yes.
Right, and DD of Africa. So go by and support the brother. He has a lot of fabulous outfits and different things like that. But he got a new place I heard is sensational. And I'll be speaking there next week. And I'm glad you came by also too. Now, we can prove this. You see. That particular Satan that they're talking about, okay, I'll break down one. You got the god Soot, which means the black god. No other god predates him. One of his other names is Sutek. Sutek comes Melchizedek. His Sumerian name is Set, and you have Anubis, where you get Sut-on. In Sumeria is called Shaitan, which the Jews call Satan, which ain't got a damn thing to do with no devil up under the ground. It's talking about the black, dark, primal forces that started the planet and the ones that rest in you. We're going to get into the beast in a few minutes because there's some other stuff in the book of Revelation you need to understand. Now, Melchizedek is Sutek, which is supposed to be form of the doggone devil, and the devil means double. I thought that Jesus was of the order, a priest king of the order of Melchizedek. That's what's in your Bible. So what it's actually saying is some of the things, they're saying one man's devil is another man's God. And what had happened was, it happened with us in Africa. What had happened was, we had a group of people that started out worshiping the same God. Some of those people migrated to certain lands, stayed there a couple of 100 years, and when they met up again, the cultures and the customs and the way they explained that God had changed, but they're still talking about the same God. And one kept saying that your God is evil in mind, and that's a political thing. Ain't got a damn thing to do, you see what I'm saying, with no God up under no ground. That God is up under that ground will be coming back on 12/12/94. I suggest you run to him because that is the God Osiris. We'll get into that in a few minutes. Like I said also, I got some good stuff here today. I got a transmission that came about October 15th, which was last Saturday, 1994 for the record, around 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And that particular transmission came about, and we actually have the transmission. I tried to write it all out, but I still got it on the paper here. So at this particular time, what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back. Good, because you need to know what the world fell into to understand where the world is actually going. Now, we're going to go into the war in heaven, which I said before. I think I quoted on another, but I never put it on video, so we'll go into that, and then we'll lead from there. Now, what happened was, I think in your book of Genesis, they talk about a great war in heaven. They talk about this throughout the Bible, this war in heaven. And they talk about the whole Lucifer story is based on that war in heaven, you see. And the fall, that great fall in heaven that they talk about also is based on that also too. And so at this particular time, I want to go into that. Now remember, like I said, the great passage from the book UFOs, Friends and Foe by George C. Andrews, where it says the insectoid powers fears the black race and have kept them subject and confused, for they hold the key to knowledge. Their genetic clan, which talking about melanin, genetic DNA melanin bank, is needed to unlock the advanced secrets from Sirius data. The segmented data is also carried through the Indian clans, both natives, what they call Indians, and also the black India from India. Clans and who were originally from the fourth planet of the Sirius star system. Now, to introduce you, our planet, our sun goes around the Earth, what, every 300, our Earth goes around the sun every 365 days. Our sun goes around the greater sun every 26,000 years. That greater sun is the star system Sirius, which is the central cosmic sun to the entire universe. This is where the black brothers and sisters live. The order of Melchizedek, of the black rite of Osiris, of the black brotherhood. They call it the great white brotherhood, talking about the crown chakra and that prism coming from the black dot, the melanin, the great white brotherhood they're talking about. Now, before I get into some things here, well, let me just go on with this thing. There was a great war in heaven that fought a couple of million years ago. I don't know, it was fought before the earth was formed. And in that particular war, you had a war being fought against Orion and Sirius. Now, Sirius is the great cosmic central suns. Now, what happened with the Orions were a group of black people decided, they said, we're going to form our own planet. So Sirius said, I think that's great. You all go over and form your own cluster of stars in the universe. And forming stars and all, and we could do all of that. And so they formed their whole cluster of stars. And as a matter of fact, what had happened was they desired and they conspired and they turned against Sirius because they wanted their own power. After they got the star system and all this thing going, they said, well, hell, they got a little jealous because Sirius was the seat of power, and they wanted their own power. Now, you've heard this particular story in the Bible. The same Lucifer story. Same one, but we're going to get into the science of what's going on because things are on a greater proportion than what you think. You see, that is years of the same astronomical mythology being broken down into what you call literal historical science to teach people at a later date who had fallen to a savage level and they couldn't comprehend the greater magnitude of what was going on in the mystery system, so they had to give them these little fairy tale stories. But those stories go back to greater meanings. Now, they got a little jealous. They wanted their own power. So what happened was Orions were a group of black people. Some of the people from Lamb were from Orion. This big-head man, and I'll show you, get into the science of this in a few minutes. They were from Orion. Now, at that particular time, they got in this big fight around 10 years, I think. And the people from Sirius won because they are very advanced. And I'll give you the NASA report that came out last, that didn't supposed to come out, but God makes sure everything get in our hands. This is the NASA report on how advanced they really are. And this beast has nothing in the entire universe that can even fight the powers and stuff. It's over for him. Yeah, but you got to realize those particular powers also, too. Now, they were very advanced, and now they fought against the Orions and whipped their behinds. Now, hell, they ripped the Orions behind, and the Orions is 80 million years, no, let's see, 80,000 years more advanced than the United States. And the Syrians whipped their behinds because the Syrians, we say billions of years because we don't know how old this is because it's the cosmic central sun. And so it's billions of years more advanced. So there's nothing the United States can do. So they beat the actual Orions behind because I think the Orions, like Delbert Blair said, what had happened was Delbert Blair got a book called The Black Man Origins in Space. He got that book from another black man, loaned him the book, and he read the actual war in heaven. What had happened was, I think the black guy moved to California. He couldn't get back in touch with the black guy to get the book. So by the time he went to the Library of Congress, the book was banned or something. He couldn't find any, no ESPN number or whatever that is, whatever that Library of Congress number. So the book was actually banned. So what had happened was, ISBN, excuse me. What had happened was, he said he couldn't find, but he said a little bit on a tape called the occult cosmology of that. He said that he didn't have greater detail on it. He had remembered reading this particular thing in the 70s. I found another book by the name of Jim Brandon's The Rebirth of Pan. A guy by the name of Jim Brandon hit upon it of the war between Sirius and Orion. You're going to find out that the breakdown of the book of Revelation is actually talking about not only a physical war that's going on the outside, but a war that's going on the inside of you. This is why your conscious level is changing. And you have the book one of a little book that you got I picked up the other day called Meditations of the Apocalypse. You might want to get some more of those books so they can get that book and try to understand in the last days on how the breakdown of the war of the book of Revelation is also going on in your body. The seven seals is the chakras. The beast in Babylon is also, one of the beasts is this physical beast, but there's another beast that's inside of you. Of Saturn fell out. They fell out and formed the planets of this particular solar system. That's why when you see Saturn, you see another particular a ring around it, because Saturn is even in another dimension, and the debris from space gets trapped in that particular ring, and that's what causes the ring around it, is the debris from space. Now Saturn is, you give me something to drink too, whatever, water, whatever. Saturn, the planets fell out and formed the other solar system. Now, I always have to give you a good look at the Kabbalah. These are the planets of this particular solar system. This is also the spiritual centers in your body also, because this is the actual, the original cross of Jesus Christ. This is the crossing over point. This is the cross, you see. Right in here is the crossing over point when we get into that particular science. This is the original cross. This is the Holy Kabbalah, or your Kabbalah, which your particular Bible comes from. This is the esoteric Bible from the exoteric Bible. The exoteric is what they give everybody, you know, what they give everybody from the average people. You learn these exoteric stories to try to explain some indication of spirituality. Your esoteric, which the priests or your high science, is coming from your Kabbalah. Good book, The Ladder of Lights by William Gray. It's talking about the Kabbalah. Another good book is Mystical Kabbalah by Dion Fortune. There are several books on the Kabbalah at Black Media, and they'll have some here also too. I heard that you want to get a lot of books here, so what you don't find, you can also come back here. For the people in this area, you come back here and actually get the actual books. I'll go and give her a book list, and we can go through some of those things to get also. Now, what you see here is, you see the earth is down here. It's the lowest. There's nothing on the planet that is in the universe that is low as the earth. This is the only planet that is on a physical third dimensional level. That's real low. Then you have Mercury, you have the moon, you have Venus, you have Jupiter, you have Mars, you have the sun, you have right here you have Saturn, and all of them fall. This is the zodiac that's talking about going up to a higher level. This and right in here is a sphere called dark, which is Sirius, and this is the light of dark, which is also Sirius. We'll get into that in a few minutes. Now, if you notice, the earth was the lowest. So even though all of the planets fell out of Saturn, they put the earth down the lowest to be this experimentation planet that will go through the worst hell of all of the cosmos. And the earth would bear the burden of all of the actual cosmos. So what happened, instead of destroying the entire planet the entire planet of the solar system of Orion, they had to destroy they just took Saturn and took it down, and all of the actual planets of that solar system is down low. But the earth is the lowest. That's why when you go to the other planets, they don't see life on the outside, because they don't have the physical form, because the physical is the lowest form. And the earth is the only one on the third dimensional physical form. It is the lowest. But because it is the lowest, it stands as the root chakra. Now that means that here you have in the Kabbalah, you have what is called the root chakra, and this chakra rises to the top. And once it rises to the top, the whole system of your whole body lights up, because it's the same as going on inside your body. Once this particular earth rises to the top, the entire universe or the entire solar system rises up. So the root chakra is the power. That's called Babylon. Now, what has happened is this. Because this root chakra has the most power, because it is the lowest, this is the Kundalini chakra that rises up the tree of life to the solar system. Our solar system is the Kundalini root chakra to the entire universe. So at this particular time, because Earth, based on this year of 1994, has got holes on all spiritual systems across the globe, and they are only waiting on one particular people to rise up within the next month to take back the entire planet. This is how serious this stuff is. Now, to bear witness to what I'm saying, all you got to do is, this is not no dogma. You know how you got to go in and somebody teach you their brand and stuff. You got all these people telling you this stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is no dogma. All I'm just doing is giving you some additional information. So when the stuff go down, if it does go down, you can say, oh, well, hell, I heard that from the brother. So, boom, and now I know what to do. It's not as if you wouldn't have had the actual information. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to spread my own brand of theology on you. This is a classroom at this particular time because the mystery system was an educational system. It was no such thing as a religion. That's later. We're talking about additional information. Now, if you got the actual knowledge, ain't no need of you being here, right? That's because we have been victims of people, what you call great, they call that great public speaking, where a person comes in and gives you what you want to hear. You see what I'm saying? And not what you need to hear or additional information. That's why you go, that's right. Well, hell, if that's right, what the hell you paying this man money to give you something you already know? You see what I'm saying? You should be offended. Check. That's because they have been saying nothing well. You see what I'm saying? So we get into the art of speaking and say nothing well. You say, go on, brother, you know you're right. Well, hell, if he know he's right, what the hell you listen to him for? You see what I'm saying? If it's not, it should be, I didn't know that. Where you get that from? That's spurning intellectual thought and spiritual thought. If there's anything that you've already heard before, ain't no need for people, people say, I don't know, I ain't never heard that before. I ain't never heard that before. That's strange. I never, well, hell, that's the whole reason for knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Because the white man can give you something you never heard before. It can be a lie. You can go, ooh. You see, when a black person come up and all, I ain't never heard that before. You see? So now what we're talking about is it's things that you never heard. And remember, if you've heard it, then obviously it ain't a real juice at this particular time for the simple fact, if it sounds logical, rational, then in actuality, it's probably not the right thing. Because if it sounds logical and rational in a society like this, crazy as this is, then you know its actuality has got to be dead knowledge. Just like, that's right, at this particular time, you say, well, I learned this Afrocentric knowledge, and I go home, and the people think I'm crazy. Say, you crazy. You worshiping the devil. Well, listen to this. If you are not crazy in a society like this, or don't seem crazy, that means that you are a pillar of this society in a dead world like this, you got to be a dead person. Everything at this particular time must go across the grain. It must, it can't go with the grain, it's got to go across the grain, or against the grain. You see what I'm saying? Honorable Elijah Muhammad even said, well, also look, and Master Farad Muhammad in one of the teachings that they put out, he said, always look for the strange ones among you. Those are the angels. You see what I'm saying? The strange ones among you. Those are the ones. You see what I'm saying? Because they are in this world, but they're not of this world. So you say, that person kind of strange. You see, that's because they are on other higher levels a lot of times, and they do not bring themselves down low enough to go with the way things are going, because that's dead people. That's like cattle. You understand what I'm saying? Now, what has happened is this particular solar system is getting ready to be risen back up to the higher levels, and the whole earth is getting ready to go in there. In your book of Revelation, it says, and the people will be caught up unto the throne. The children will be caught up unto the throne. Where's the throne? The throne in Egypt is called a stone seat. You see Isis, the offset, she has a seat on her head. That's the Sirius, that's the star system, Sirius, the stone seat. Or you see her with these big thighs like the sister got, and she sits the baby on the big thighs. You see, that is the stone seat or the spiritual seat, and she's called the soul of Sirius. Her other name is Root Chakra, which is called Sophis, which is called Sirius, which is the great cosmic central sun. So it says that, and the children will be caught up unto the throne. That's in the book of Revelation. Where's the throne? The throne is the order of Melchizedek in the heaven of God, or the order of Medura, which is the original form of Melchizedek, or Ra-Heru-Kahudi, which is a later form of the god Sutek, which is a later form of the god Al-Sut, which is a later form. It goes back and on and on and on.